What's up? I'm Liam from Turn Sounds, and fishing in a swimming pool is bad.
Welcome to Just Keep Walking, a podcast focused on the Walking Dead TV show. This episode we'll be discussing Season 10, Episode 10, Stalker.
I really like this riff. It's good.
Yeah, it's a nice little riff.
It's
That's
going, right?
Shout out to Lockie, my brother, who helped with that. He doesn't watch Walking Dead, but I sort of showed him the theme. I'm like, this is what I'm thinking. And
does he have a handle that we could plug, or
yeah, he's
just throwing this on?
What is he on Instagram?
Oh, what have I done?
I can't even remember, to be honest.
Okay.
Hashtag
And,
sorry.
my phone's in airplane mode. We'll
put it in the show
next
notes.
week. Yeah. Shout out next week. Thanks for tuning in. I'm your host Ben, and joined by Liam.
What's up? I'm Liam.
Awesome, and Isaac.
What's up? It is Isaac here.
What's up? We're feeling very cool and young and youthy today. May as well just get straight into the episode. Actually, I'll just let you know what you're in for today. So we'll do a little brief overview, just what we thought, liked it, didn't like it. And then we'll sort of get into, I was making notes while we were watching the episode, so we'll go scene by scene and just talk about some things that happened. And then at the end, we've got a few segments. We'll do one called Previously on The Walking Dead, that's just talking about some stuff we like from the first 9 seasons, and then also another fun survival one, which we're going to put Isaac in a bit of a interesting situation.
Just before you do that, really quick, so the title of this episode is... No, you can keep that running.
Okay, keep it on. I didn't know if you were pointing to...
I think I meant... Anyway. The title of this episode is Stalker, hey?
Stalker, yeah.
Just letting you know, I don't know if you guys saw the small advertisement that they did with Beta in the dark, and like slowly he comes out of the shadows and you just see his mask, and I think his eyes are tint red or something like that.
Right.
It was on Instagram. I think AMC posted it.
Was that today they posted it?
Maybe.
Okay.
Just with like the red thing Stalker written over the top.
I've been avoiding Instagram today to avoid spoilers, but yeah.
Well, that was on Instagram last night, and that was the last thing I saw before I went to bed.
Oh, geez.
It's like, well,
that's pretty.
There goes my night. So, yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, not something you want before you go to bed. Actually, and speaking of the title, I thought it was kind of a good title for the episode.
Yeah.
Because you got, Beta's stalking around, stalking people. Daryl's like stalking the Whisperers towards the start, and then Alpha's stalking him. It's like...
And plot twists.
Yeah.
Lydia's stalking all of them.
Yes. I'm like, what is it now? I almost said Judith. I'm like, nope, Judith's stalking nobody.
Everyone's getting stalked this episode. So... Yeah, out of that, let's hear. Well, what did you guys think of the episode overall? Were you happy with it? Yeah, Liam.
Yeah, I loved it. I think we were talking about this beforehand, but this absolutely became my favorite episode this season.
Oh, that's great! Wow,
awesome. Yeah.
No way, awesome. That's cool. All right.
I'm actually in agreement. I kind of wish that this was the episode that they open with after the season break.
Okay.
I think I'd be... Because I feel quite satisfied after watching that. I had everything, the suspense with, you got Beta stalking around the place. You got the threat that, Norman Reedus, what's his name?
Daryl.
Gee, not a good night, is it?
we all have those moments.
Daryl might die. You're thinking Alpha might actually die. And it's like, so they're just really hanging all of that in front of you. And it's makes for good television.
Absolutely. Yeah, really good. And I'm in a similar boat. I don't know if I'd quite put it as my favorite episode yet. Not that I didn't like it, but just that I really liked episode 4, Silence the Whisperers. But this is definitely up there. It was a really good episode. I was really enjoying it. I was trying to take notes in the scenes, but then sometimes it just gets so sucked in and forget. So that's a good sign. That's what you want.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So pretty much we start off with the little sort of cold open of Beta going in into the tunnel that was obviously dug out to get into Alexandria.
Yeah.
So it's mentioned briefly at one point that it was probably Dante who did that. It's left a little bit up in the air.
It's awfully after the fact kind of, oh, and by the way, Dante must have dug this tunnel.
Sure, yeah.
It's like a massive tunnel.
And I'm very curious about some of the logistics, especially later in the episode when Beta crawls out from the grave and there's all the dirt there. How where was he crawling from, and why didn't, when he opened a door underneath, why didn't all the dirt fall through?
Yeah.
I was a bit curious what was going on there, but hey, that's minor nitpicks.
If we get back to that later, I have a note on that scene.
Okay, all right. We'll come to that scene a little bit later. So from there we go to Rosita and Gabe, and the baby starts crying, and it turns out it's Rosita's nightmare of people coming to kill Coco. It looks
Coco.
like Coco. Sorry about that. Apologies.
Yeah. But we all knew it was a dream straight away, though.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't sure, to be honest, because you just had the open of Beta going, sneaking in. So my initial thought was, have they gone straight to him, like going in there about to kill the baby? But
you didn't know that straight away, though. Like, we hadn't yet seen him entering the camp.
Yeah,
so
true.
I don't know. I felt like if that was the case, like it would have been extremely random to have right at the start of the episode.
Yeah, sure, true.
But
And of all victims to start with.
yeah,
Like, we've got to take care of the baby first.
Don't touch the baby, man.
if the baby cries, it alerts the whole village. So tactics.
Oh, actually, yeah, that makes sense.
Write that down.
So from there we go to like Gamma rocking up at the gate of Alexandria, and I loved just Father Gabriel in this scene, hey, and throughout the whole episode,
Yeah.
really.
He's shining, isn't he?
Oh,
He
yeah.
is, definitely. I was actually worried for him at one point that maybe he's shining a little too much and they're going to kill him off, but we'll see. Yeah, just the way he, interrogates her, and he's so confident.
Yeah.
He's a cool guy. I like Gaby.
I
Gaby. I
wasn't
like
sure at first as well with like the whole blind eye that he's got, but I'm actually really liking it as part of just like a character design. When we start to see smaller things like shout back to old guy beard fake leg.
Herschel. Yeah.
Oh man.
That's all right. We're having a night, guys.
Yeah, different.
But we are fans.
Yeah, we do watch the show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Every
fake
parent
leg.
forgets their kids' names once in a while.
Aaron's got that fake arm going on, and then just like an eye as well. It's nice.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, very distinctive and recognizable. Although there was one part later in the episode where it kind of looked like he was staring at the camera. Did you guys see that?
In the jail?
Yeah.
A little bit.
It might have been the angle I was sitting at from the TV, but
I didn't notice it.
because of the one blind eye and the other eye, it kind of looked like he was just staring straight at the audience.
Oh boy.
But yeah. No, it is a cool character design, definitely. And sort of, after that, when it goes into the cell and everything, just, when he's talking about, look, I've been a servant of God, and people come to confess to me, and I know when someone's holding something back. It's just, yeah, he's a cool guy.
Yeah, that scene was awesome.
Definitely. Good at interrogating people, I think.
And this is kind of the first instance as well where we know that she's telling the truth as well. Like with all the
sure.
other whisperers and with all the other people that are being interrogated, like right from the start, since they first started interrogating people, we're like, oh, can we trust this person? Can we not? But we kind of already know that Beta Gamma is telling the truth. You can see the annoyance in her face as well. Like every single line, she's like, "Oh, of course, this sounds like I'm making all of this
Yeah.
up."
It really does.
Like, it's like, oh,
But that fits so perfectly with the episode, like right at that climax at the end where all the guns are pointed on her.
yeah.
You can just see in her eyes, she's like, oh no.
Not
Like,
again.
Of all the things that could happen. Like, I swear it's not even funny, guys. I'm not making this up.
Yeah.
Are you how are you guys feeling about her, Mary or Gamma or whatever you want to call her? There were definitely more than a few scenes in this episode that really were, making me think this could be a long-term sort of character who we really grow to like and who could become one of the heroes. Are you feeling that way, or are you still a bit not sure about her?
Yeah, I was for sure, actually. I felt that from the start, actually, when she came on with this episode specifically.
Right.
All the other episodes, not so much. I'm like, she's kind of annoying. You don't really get a sense of
Right.
what you want. But in this one, I'm like, actually, yeah, she does seem to be someone that she can turn around, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah, I see a bit of a redemption arc coming for her for sure.
Because there needs to be people from every single group that they encounter, right? You need to snag at least, and Lydia doesn't count, just in case you're wondering. I reckon, yeah. I don't see why not.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Particularly when she does really open up and talk about, hey, I actually had to kill my sister and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, the music and everything in that scene I thought was done really well. I like Bear McCreary, and the music in this whole show I'm obsessed with. So
Oh, okay, there you
that's
go.
always going to be a plus for me. But I just really felt that was a scene of, okay, this is a character we can really start to get behind, I think. So I hope she sticks around long term. And
I did.
Yeah.
I did have a question for you on that scene while they're interrogating her in the jail, though, because I
Okay.
know that you've talked about this before. We've talked about it using wide angles at an extreme close-up.
Oh, like wide angle lenses.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
But
okay.
extreme close-ups using wide-angle lenses. Like for the entire jail scene, her
Ah.
face like takes up the entire screen, and then so does Gabriel's, and then so does Rosita's, and like all
Hmm.
of those are just like back it up a bit, man. Like
Yeah, true. It didn't stand out too much to me. I think the problem that I've often talked about with that is where they use actual like wide angle lenses, which kind of they're not quite fisheye, but almost like where they really distort the face
right.
and the proportions look really strange when you shove a camera really close to someone. I can definitely picture a bit of that now that you're saying it.
Yeah.
It didn't stand out to me too much, but yeah, you're right. It was very tied in, and
Yeah.
they probably could have pulled it back a
They
bit.
did it with like Daryl and with Alpha as well while they're on the
Oh,
ground. Like
Yeah.
just
I mean, the thing is, well, we were watching it on a bit of a bigger TV tonight
you.
than we were last week. Good TV, by the way.
Thank you.
But I guess the other thing, the reason they probably do that is just because it is made for TV, and there's going to be people watching it even on their phone or on smaller screens. So
Yeah.
compared to a movie which is made to be watched in the cinema on a massive screen, it's understandable that they'd want to go a bit closer.
Okay.
But you're right, it was, maybe a bit too tight in some of those scenes.
Yeah. If it was a creative decision, I could kind of understand, but then
Sure.
what you said makes sense as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. So around this point we see Daryl, like he's going up to I think it was the cave entrance that they went in the first time. Is that right?
It
Looks like it, yeah.
Okay. And he's stalking one of the Whisperers, about to go up and kill him, but then there's a few more that come out of the cave, and Alpha's there. And they're bringing the horde out from the cave. It confused me a little bit.
Yeah.
If this is the same entrance, because that's where all the other characters went in before and all fell down. So I'm curious as to how they're getting the walkers out and how they're not falling down the same hole, or if there's such a big opening for them to get out.
Yeah.
That got me.
Yeah.
As
questioning
soon as I saw you going on that train of thought, I thought the same thing. I didn't
Yeah.
notice it when we watched it just now, but yeah, good point.
Right.
Good point.
It could have been a different entrance potentially, but it looks like the same one.
Which, if it is a different entrance, that's another spot for potentially Connie and other lady to get out of.
Yeah, that's very
Absolutely.
true.
Yeah.
True.
Hopeful.
Yeah, hopefully. Please.
Unless Liam gets his way and then we see
they
them.
stumble
No,
out as
I don't want
walkers.
that. Not even a little bit.
Why bring it up?
Or imagine if they've joined the horde already and
Oh,
it's
no.
they find them later. Oh,
We just see
don't do that.
Alpha wearing the face of one of them as their new.
Oh,
That would
that's
hurt.
dark.
It's getting worse by the moment.
We're all just gonna go home crying
Yeah.
tonight.
And from there, he follows them a bit. I quite like the scene where they're by the river and, Alpha kind of senses there's something up, whether there's someone watching him or following them, and then just out of nowhere the arrow comes and hits one, and he's sort of coming at them from different directions. It almost felt like a horror movie, but from like the other perspective where there's this monster
Yeah.
out there that's picking everyone off. But it was pretty cool. It showed Daryl's hunting skills well. Yeah.
Which, if he had the drop on them, why he didn't just shoot her first, I don't know.
I was just thinking that.
True.
I get it, plot.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
like, it would make sense to be like, all right, there's Alpha.
Yeah. Maybe he didn't have a clear shot. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt on this one, but don't do it again.
No, yeah.
You've been warned.
Yeah, and on that, so my note for this sort of scene is, Daryl and Alpha fight. They duke it out, and they get a good couple of cuts in. I wasn't such a fan of we get the perspective of, you know, what Daryl can see, and he's all like
yeah, the
blood in
bloody
his
sort of
eyes, and he can't
vision.
quite see. And then
Mm.
classic AMC, the whole thing just cuts to black really suddenly.
Yep.
It's like, I get that this was made for TV, and and
Sure.
that's what you have to do, but can you not just like something stupid like pan up to the sky or something like that, and then fade it out, or like I don't know.
So we watch in Australia on Foxtel, so I don't know if it's edited differently in different places, but it really is like when they go to the
It's
commercial
jarring.
breaks, it's really choppy and just it'll suddenly cut and fade over like a couple frames maybe. But
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I understand. I've edited things for TV before, and it can be hard. You know, you're counting every second that you've got. But
Right.
surely they could just make one of the other shots a little, like 2 seconds shorter, and then just do a slow fade out at the end rather than
Yeah.
a sudden cut. Yeah.
Or like if you're directing it for TV, have that in your direction as well, where you know
Mm.
you're, like you say, down to the seconds. We're gonna make this scene this long
Sure.
and have it
right.
end with this character doing this.
Mm.
I don't know if that's how it can work or not, but
Yeah, it's difficult, but it does happen a lot. You'll be invested in a scene that it just does a jarring
yeah.
cut to something else, and it's like, oh, okay.
Because in particular, you've got poor Daryl, who we never really see scream, and you got him going and you got Alpha going and then out to the
Yeah.
commercial break.
Sure.
Okay.
There's something to work on if
Yeah.
anyone from AMC just happens to be listening to this, which they're probably not, but oh well.
You could sponsor us.
Yeah, they could sponsor us, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, I really like that scene, just the I guess visceralness. I don't know if that's a word, but the fight seemed really, really cool, and you could see both characters actually struggling. It didn't seem overly choreographed or like any of them were invincible. They were, you know, every punch you kind of felt what was happening and the stabs and everything. Yeah.
Well, there seemed to be more slashing than actually striking, didn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, which is cool, I guess.
Yeah, it's cool. It's good when you really
Yeah.
feel it rather than it just seeming like it's all choreographed or whatever. So
I've never
that's a
been
plus.
stabbed with a knife before, but I'm sure it hurt a lot more than just an "oh, ow."
Yeah,
Or, you know, you get nicked and sliced open. It's just kind of
Yeah.
like
Ooh.
it's all part of the battle, I guess. But
But if you Daryl, you just go an octave
mean-
higher and
yeah,
I wonder if in the moment the adrenaline would sort of keep you
hope
going,
so.
but
Yeah.
you could definitely see him struggling with it afterwards. We've got a bit there of Gabriel with, well, we see him and Rosita sort of like talking, and she's, you know, you can see that she's, you know, Sadiq's only died 2 days ago or something like that, so you can see that she's struggling with that, and yeah, sort of getting over the loss, and also worrying about Coco, and you know, the fact that she rather, Coco, is just realizing, you know, where's Dad, sort of thing. So yeah, it's a sad scene, but I quite liked how that sort of, I guess we could talk about how that plays out in the rest of the episode with Rosita. You know, she's saying, look, I just want to go, I can do it, but then I think it worked well having her and Gabe as a couple, just seeing, you know, he notices, hey, I don't think you are doing so well, so
yeah,
he's looking out for her.
yeah, and he calls a spade a spade. I like that about him.
Absolutely, yeah. And particularly at that point where they're about to go out and to leave, you know, she's about to go and he's just staring at her, and he can just tell, look, oh, you're not doing so well. So he just then goes, all right, new plan. I'll go out. Rosie, you stay here. And she doesn't talk back. She doesn't go like, oh, I wanted to go. I like at that point she's realized, you know what, actually I am not doing too well at the moment. I need to take a minute. So it's good. I thought that played out well. And I'm definitely seeing the couple dynamic working a bit more now. How do you guys feel about that?
yeah, I absolutely agree. And then logic comes in where she's like, you know, our baby Kaka is gonna have to grow up without, you know, a mother if we're not careful. So like, yeah,
absolutely.
like it makes sense for her to stay behind, and
Absolutely.
yeah, and you're right. She doesn't make a big deal about him speaking on her behalf, even though he says like that's not what he's trying to do, but like this is what needs to happen. So yeah,
I like that she's getting more aware of that. You know, earlier in the season when it was if I die, you know, Cocos.
Coco.
Cocos lost a mother. That was one thing, but now she's already lost a dad. So it means that much more if Rosita dies as well.
That kid's gonna have to go as his or her whole. Is it him? I think
Her,
it's a him.
her,
She
no,
is.
it's a her.
It's a girl.
Her whole life being called Coco.
Coco.
So like, what's?
And Rosita.
Yeah.
Yeah, the name confuses me to a degree. I'm like, why would you call your kid Coco in the zombie apocalypse?
And a
Why
callback
not?
really quick that I miss. I know we haven't heard from Dwight in a while, but the way he says Rosita. I don't know if you can remember that.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, my favorite.
Such a stirrer.
Yep.
What's wrong with Coco?
Well, I think it doesn't really fit the theme of I need to grow up to be, for
Yeah.
lack of better words, I got to be
Sure.
a badass and kill zombies and stuff like. But my name is Coco,
Yeah,
like Coco, destroyer of worlds.
yeah. The rule of thumb is as well, you have to be able to yell out the name in an angry fashion and not sound silly. Which is why the name Kevin will never work. Because
Heaven.
yeah, see? Like picture that kid doing something and you going, Coco! Like, no.
You've got Alpha then going, what did you say?
I can imagine though, like 30 years or whatever. He saves some group from a pile of zombies, comes in all bad. Oh, she, sorry.
Yeah, see?
I'm getting all mixed up. Okay, she comes in, so I was like, oh wow, that was amazing. Thanks for saving us. What's your name? Coco. That's a fair point.
Yeah,
Oh well, it's a cool name anyway.
if you say so.
I don't mind. What do we got next? Let me just refer to my list. Yeah, actually, I did write down that blood thing you said as well, just a couple of scenes ago of the point of view of Daryl with
Yeah.
whenever they do that, yeah.
Because they did it with Aaron being blinded like by the weed and stuff like that.
Yeah.
From the weed.
The weed.
And then same with when Gabriel was going blind as well and he couldn't quite see. There was all of that. It's just disorientating.
Sure.
Yeah, I get that's the point, but it's still not fun. We don't want to be disorientated. We want to see what's going on.
Sure, yeah, absolutely. And also just that you can't really accurately portray what it's like
That's
to
it.
have blood in
Yeah.
your eyes or whatever. So they're trying, but it just looks strange and I don't know. Maybe
We'll try it one of these days and not blood, like food coloring or something, and see how
Corn
much you
syrup.
can see.
Stay
We're
tuned.
not monsters on this show.
So we got another scene as well of Judith talking to Mary in the cell, which that was kind of nice, a little calling back to her and Negan, how Judith always goes and talks to whoever's there. Yeah, it's cool. I like to check in with Judith once in a while because
Yeah.
I suppose she's only got so much to do sometimes in these big storylines when all the adults are dealing with it, but it's good to just have those moments where we sort of check in with her.
Yeah.
What do you think of Judith in this episode?
It was cool to see her engaging with Gamma, Mary. I
Yeah.
don't know what to call her.
Either or.
But yeah, it was cool to see her. Like, she just doesn't care. It's like, oh yeah, you're in jail, but you know what? Let's have a chat.
Yeah.
What's your deal? It's like, oh, who? But I love the fact that her first question was, "Who were you before the Whisperers?" or something. Like, there's no beating around the bush.
Yeah.
She's just like, "Who are you?"
Sure.
I like that. She's
Yeah.
like, anyone could say to her, "Don't talk to these people in the prison." She's
Sure.
like, "Ah, do what I want." Who are you? Let's have a chat.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. I love that. That's so cool.
She's
Yeah.
not freaked out at all.
No,
She's
yeah.
Oh, really?
She lives up to
awesome.
the name Daryl gave her.
Yeah, little ass kicker.
Forgot about that. Yeah.
That's a good moment.
Yeah.
And even I like that, Rosita, when she comes up and says, all right, Judith, time for bed or whatever it is, she doesn't say, oh, you can't be talking to her. It's just like, oh,
You're
it's
not
just a
gonna.
given by now. Judith's just going to
Judith's
talk
doing
to
it again.
Yeah. So we cut back to Daryl and Alpha. They've found this shed or whatever it is.
Like to think of it as a shack.
A shack, sure.
A shed has a roof, technically. This one didn't
shacks
really.
have roofs?
It's like variegated, if you will,
Oh, okay,
like
okay.
Ah.
gaps
Yeah.
in it.
All right, shack, shed, whatever you want to call it.
A shack.
All right, we'll go with shack.
That's exactly what he wants
We'll
to
go
call
with
it.
what's correct, Ben.
I apologize. Yeah, so we're really seeing them, they're both not in good shape. And I like that, you know, it's realistic. It's not like they've just been stabbed or whatever and they just, whatever, throw the knife away, walk away. It just adds to that realism. You know, these are actual people and you don't just walk away from a stab, knife to the leg.
Maybe you don't. But...
Yeah. And to the point where, you know, these are two, you know, pretty much leaders of opposite communities. Really, you know, they're the big heads. And they're, 5-10 meters away from each other, and they're just such in bad shape that they can't even bring themselves to get up and attack the other person.
Exhausted.
Yeah. So that was cool.
My note for this scene was, it was very reminiscent. So you got Wounded Alpha there, who's tapping away, trying to get. So cool, the zombie designs. Like,
really
like,
cool.
With like half a tree growing out of him and like whatever. But Wounded Alpha there is kind of reminiscent to me of like the low point of every single bad guy up to date. Like if you look at, so she can barely move, she can't really do much. Then you got like Negan back in the day when they were trapped in that sort of mine shaft and he was without his bat and sort of running around in the dark, not knowing what to do.
Yeah.
Like that was his sort of low point. And same with the governor getting his eye stabbed and everything. And I kind of thought, like, yeah, you need to show the low point of the villain. But this one really made it feel like she was gonna die. Like to me anyway, it was like, oh, so Beta's gonna be the main guy from now on.
Yeah, I was kind of ready for it.
I was,
so was I.
I really was.
Absolutely. And really clever as well. The tapping the thing to bring walkers in. Just, you know, that's the weapon she can use to her advantage. Just bring these things in to do the work for her, and they're not going to attack her. So that was clever, definitely.
I did like the last one too, that sort of looked at her for a little bit longer and then did a
It's
almost like you were saying, "Stop tapping! I was sleeping."
Are you serious? You woke me up to this?
There's nothing here.
He'd been sleeping for a while. He had like mushrooms growing off him and stuff. So,
Oh, yeah, those shrooms.
Yeah.
Really. I was having a good time. And Daryl, so badass. Yeah. Badass. I don't know. We're Australian. I don't know how to say it
kick-ass
properly.
here in Australia.
Kick-ass. Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, he gets the crowbar, he uses the fire extinguisher thing, and then for the third one he's like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna have to do it. Pulls the knife out of his leg and just stabs it. Man, this guy can do anything.
Except walk away after that.
True. Moving right along, what have we got there? Actually, there's one more line, from the previous scene that Judith said of just, you know, talking about when she met Alpha and saying, hey, you know, you just met the wrong people first. And I thought that was quite a nice line, and and just brings it all into perspective really of you know, how it works in this world, and how there's these groups out there like the Saviors. You know, if you're struggling to survive, I can imagine it's, you know, it's not easy for people out on their own.
You're not going to pick and choose,
Yeah, you just go with whatever group you're with, and if you happen to come across a bad one, then that can completely shape who you become.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, so I like that line. That was nice. What have we got? Oh, yeah, and then we got... So back to Gabriel and all that. When he leaves to go out on the sort of scouting mission. It's not a scouting mission. They've got a call saying, "Look, there's a horde over here from one of the outposts," and I think that's what they're responding to. Is that right?
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Okay. At that moment when he leaves, you know, they have a kiss, and he's like, "Oh, I'll see you soon." That really felt like, oh, you're not going to see this.
Oh, yeah.
Thankfully they did, but I was worried in that scene either one of them was going to die. Did you guys feel that at all?
Yep. Definitely.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to add to that. Yep.
Which is actually good, because you talked about that a little while ago, how, you know, when someone's about to die, they'll do a big, you know, closure and all this stuff. So I like that they did it in this moment, but they
Yeah.
didn't die. So it kind of keeps you on your toes. It's not like every time there's closure and a big dramatic line, that means the person's going to die.
Yeah.
It doesn't necessarily mean that. So I like that they know kind of what we're going to be thinking and can play with our expectations in that way.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
with
I
both characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I didn't even consider that Gabriel might die.
Okay.
Like that went right over my head. If that
Yeah.
was meant to be deliberate or something, I don't know. I was just kind of
yeah,
like,
I don't know if it was.
that's a nice embrace. You're just going on a scouting mission of some kind. You know, you'll be right back, I'm sure.
Sure.
Which is why if he had died, that would have hit me really hard. Like I would
Absolutely.
not have seen that coming.
Yeah. Oh, well, thankfully they did come back.
Hmm.
So from there we go to Beta's coming out of the grave. What was your other note on that scene?
Oh yeah, the most dramatic hand reach. Like since day one of this show, there's been some director who's like, guys, we have to do the zombie reaching out the ground thing, and he's like, no, it's too cliche, and then finally the guy's just persisted enough. And like, fine, all right, we'll do it.
Damn it.
And then rather than just kind of just punch his hand out and then just, smooth out the dirt, he does this big hand out and then turn around and like,
Yep.
fresh air. Oh.
Fingers all spread apart.
Yeah. I'm just like, come on, guys. Like,
And it was in a grave as well. You're like, oh,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Oh, I don't know.
And that's the thing, hey, like the logistics of that, it really, I don't think like the physics and stuff really seem to make much sense, but hey,
Looked damn cool.
you gotta stretch it a bit if you want to get those cool images in there. So hey, fair enough. They gotta have some fun once in a while.
I just don't understand. If it was Dante that did it, how is he dug
Yeah.
a massive tunnel,
Yeah.
built all that infrastructure, and no one's like, why is he digging in that grave?
Big enough for like a 6-point-something foot man to
Yeah.
like worm his way through.
Like, I can imagine
Yeah.
that the other Whisperers would have been burrowing underneath for quite some time, potentially, and
Sure.
doing most of the work there.
And
But
they said
surely
they
someone would
did
have
join it with
noticed.
the tunnels that were already there at some point. They like blocked off bits. That was a throwaway line
Ah.
towards the end.
I didn't pick up on that.
Yeah. So I guess they didn't dig the whole thing, but still, it's a solid effort.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and trying not to be caught.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because didn't they have that secret
Yeah.
entrance like underneath the firewood and
That's
whatnot?
it. So I think the line towards the end was something like, they've blocked off parts of the tunnels that we already had. So I think that was part of it, but then they would have dug out a bit extra and something like that.
There you go.
Was that not
Yeah.
at Hilltop? I thought that was at Hilltop, that one.
You might be right there, actually. I think
Oh,
you're right.
So there's the one with the wood pile at Hilltop
Yeah.
that you lift up,
Yeah.
but then at Alexandria there's the sewers.
Yeah.
Underneath where
yeah,
they hide
yeah.
in, and
Oh,
that's
I forgot
where
about that.
Carl
Yeah.
reveals the bite in season 8.
Still
Insert
around there.
soundbite.
Yeah, Carl.
Carl!
That was a bit better than mine.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't really see the logistics of that tunnel working so well, but they had to, do it just to get that image in there. So hey, whatever. It's a small nitpick. I liked Beta creeping past. I think one of the guys was one of the bullies that was taunting Lydia earlier. They were saying, "Oh, these whisperers, they're not so scary." And Beta's just like sneaking past in the hallway with his knife. I thought that was
Wasn't
funny.
clear if he killed them or not.
No, it wasn't. I don't think he did. It looks like he was just sneaking past, but I'm not sure what was going on there. But
I think he did.
yeah, okay,
I hope he did. Just
Yeah,
'cause it adds to
probably.
the
Jeez,
threat.
Okay.
I mean,
Hey, they were bullies and jerks.
well, there's
anyway.
that too, but more so from the point of like he was clearly there to set up a little mini army of walkers.
Sure,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't see him sneaking into a house, killing the lights, and then be like, I'll leave these guys. These guys are all right. I'll go find some other guys. And they can become my army.
Yeah, that makes
Because
sense.
those two guys were calling him out. They said he was a coward, and so he was like, these
Oh,
guys
yeah.
have gone, they're onto me, I can't mess with them.
Can't mess with it. It made me laugh regardless at
Yeah,
least.
yeah.
And then he goes in and kills that family. That was brutal. Hey?
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
like that one bit.
I did like the how they did it. A lot of it from the wide shot though. I thought that was quite clever and it looked cool. A way to avoid getting right up close, seeing him, stabbing,
Yeah.
killing this family. Just to do it from the wide angle of the house. So that was a plus, but it was pretty brutal for sure.
It's probably one of the only things that I really don't like to see in this show. Like, there's been one or two times where it's been like hinted that, you know, a particular family was savaged by walkers or something, or there was that
Sure.
there was that one episode where like there's a like baby clothes left over in like some
Yeah, that's right.
petrol station or something, and it's just pretty shocking, sort of.
Sure.
But yeah, it's like, of course it happens in this world, but it's, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not that nice to watch.
No.
anything
No.
Out of
to
sight,
do with
out of
kids,
mind.
really. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well.
Oh,
They did
well.
it.
Just to throw a
What
little
can
spanner
you
in the
do?
works, though, like it was a really cool tactic, though.
It's
Oh,
really clever.
Absolutely
yeah.
brutal, but
And I liked the actual idea of it, of just
Yeah.
you know, going and kill a few people and then just sit and wait for them to turn to
Yeah.
walkers, and then you've got your distraction all sorted. You know, you don't have to bring in a whole army of people, just one guy can do
Yeah.
it, and got an
very
army
clever.
working for you. Yeah.
The assumption these days, though, seems to be that the walkers will turn like within the half hour sort of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas
yeah.
like in earlier seasons, wasn't it like up to a full day sometimes it could take, or like
It's been inconsistent, which isn't. I don't think that's an issue or a continuity issue. I think it's just a fact of just that whether or not it's to do with your genetics
Yeah.
and how it affects you. Just that some people turn quicker than others. So I mean, the fact that everyone there woke up at the same time
Yeah.
was maybe a bit inconsistent, but. Hey, what can you do? It's a zombie show at the end
That's
of the day.
it.
It's just
That's it.
a TV show. And so they come and you see Gabriel and the group on the road. You know, they find the lookout people have been killed as well, and just that realization of, oh, you know what, this is the trap. They've brought us out here so that there's less people at home. And I really liked cutting back and forth between that and then seeing
Yeah.
it all about to go down at Alexandria. Really built up the tension. Hey.
oh yeah, and it highlighted just how dangerous Beta is. Like, it's not as if
Absolutely.
they've sent a whole herd there or even a couple of whisperers. It's just one guy.
Yeah.
One guy's rocked up. They've lured a few people out, but then one guy's just going to wreak havoc. I'm like, man, this dude, he can survive getting thrown down a shaft, like an elevator shaft. And,
Anything.
yeah.
Cool. Did you want to say anything else? Or?
So we're pretty much where he confronts Gamera right at the moment, hey?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yep.
So
I would have been, if I were in the shoes of that she's a young lady, is she? I can't quite tell.
yeah, I don't know, early mid-20s.
Okay,
That's a guess. Oh, she could even be younger. I don't know.
I would be in the corner going, please. Like, oh man, she's keeping her cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's a big scary fella.
Like, no. Yeah, I was quaking just watching it. Like, in fact, the next couple of scenes that follow, I thought were done so well. Like, I was actually in full suspense.
Really well.
I knew he was going to get shot. I was like, Judith is there. She's got the.
Yeah.
Sure, yeah. This whole scene that played out here, I was trying to take notes throughout the episode, but
Yeah.
this I was just like, no, I can't even look away for a second for this. So yeah, you got that in the cell, and then Laura comes in and holds the spear,
It's a halberd.
whatever it is. Okay, say that again.
Spear with a little axe on the end is called a halberd.
Halberd. Okay, all right. You learn something every day. You do.
I like it.
Yeah, a halberd.
I'll get the spelling up for you.
It doesn't matter anyway. You can get the spelling up for me. So Laura, comes in, says, "Go get help to Mary." Does Laura actually die in this scene? It seemed like that to me. After her and Beta fight.
It looked like it, didn't it?
Yeah, I really hope not, because she's a cool character. I
Yeah.
like her. Let me turn that up. Sorry, there we go.
Halberd.
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 Okay,
Halberd.
Interesting.
There you go.
Here we go.
Yeah.
I thought at the minute she pointed it to his neck, I was like, that's the dumbest move you could have ever done. It's like,
I should have just stabbed it right
Yeah.
through then and
well,
there.
not only that, but like, you get him up against the wall and you take a step back, like, and get ready to skewer him. Don't put it up against, because then he's just going to knock it out the way. And I
Yeah.
was like, as soon as that happened exactly that way, I was just like, well,
Yeah.
There you go.
Absolutely.
like, yeah. She should know better. She's done the training and everything.
She
So,
has.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
bit
So-
annoying to watch that.
I hope she's still alive, but it seemed like they could. Yeah. She was like blocked behind the bar, so you didn't see the gory face, but it seemed like he smashed her face.
There was a
and,
pool of blood on the ground.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was. Yeah. Oh, rest in peace, Laura. If that's the case, I'll watch Talking Dead and let you guys know, because I'll
Yeah,
do
okay.
an in memoriam thing for her.
Didn't even know her name.
There we go. There we go. The one with the cool barcode tattoo.
You mean the tattooed lady?
Yes,
Hmm.
yes. We'll come back to that. So there was actually also a throwaway line. I don't know if any of you guys heard it or could clarify this. So Rosita's running around as the walkers are sort of coming out and going around Alexandria, and Rosita yells, check Morgan Street, I think is what I heard.
Yeah.
Morgan Street or Morgan's Tree. Did you guys pick up on that at all?
I didn't think anything of it,
Okay.
actually, now
Yeah.
that you said it.
I mean, I remember the line. Yeah, didn't put any sort of significance to.
Could be nothing at all, but if it was they've named a street after Morgan, that would be cool.
Hmm.
I don't know if that's intentional or not, but that was just something that crossed my mind. So we got from there, Judith says, "Oh, come on in here to Mary," and brings her in there. So then we got the scene of Beta going in and just creeping through the house
Yeah.
until he comes up to the door, and little ass kicker Judith just bang just shoot. Like, it's not even, she didn't even give the gun to Mary or anything. It's like, nah, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
You gotta love her, hey.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I called it. I was like, at any moment, because it was completely silent as well, and you've just got the sounds of him creaking through the house. No music going, and it was like any minute. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I started to turn the sound down a little bit because I'm
I
like,
didn't notice.
there's
No, I
going to be a
didn't
very
know.
loud gunshot any second now. And yeah, and this is where, like, I don't know if you guys have seen Zombieland at all.
Yeah,
Classic
yeah.
double
Yep, yep.
tap. Where's the
Yeah.
double tap at?
Yeah.
You could have just like put it up against and blown his brains out and finished it
Yeah.
there, but no.
Exactly right. Like, it would have made sense if she'd be like, damn, that was my last bullet
Yeah.
or something.
Or like, but even so, even if you had killed him, now he's going to rise up as a walker, and now you've got another walker running. Like,
Yep.
it doesn't make any sense to leave him there.
Yeah, it really doesn't. Hey, it's not like you have to get close within grabbing range if he is still alive. Like, you can just stand back, just open the door, get a clear shot, shoot him in the head. Yeah.
And furthermore, I get he's a tough guy, but if you take a 44 Magnum to the chest, even with armor, you have broken ribs there.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Probably. But like we said, he's fallen down a freaking
Yeah.
elevator shaft, lost half his
he
teeth.
doesn't even
and
have ribs anymore.
So yeah, I feel like he could probably keep going even with a couple
Yeah.
cracked ribs.
He'd be having a bad. He'd be grumpy, I'd say.
Yeah. Is he ever not grumpy though?
I was going to say, what would he look like grumpy? If this is not if this is base level.
Yeah.
True.
Who knows? What do we got next? Oh yeah, that's right. And well, actually, one thought when he was creeping around the house, I'm pretty sure it's actually upstairs on the next story, so that's why it didn't happen. But earlier in season 9, there's a scene where Judas sort of walking up on Michonne and steps on a creaky floorboard. So I thought they were maybe going to do something and bring that back where he steps on the same floorboard, and that's what makes him aware that he's there. But that's on another story of the building anyway. So
That would have been a cool callback.
it would have been, yeah, just a
Very
very small
niche,
thing that
yeah.
probably no one else would notice. But they're the things I think about. So we got then Rosita facing off with Beta, and she's awesome. Hey,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't think I was worried about her. Were you guys? Or?
I was worried.
Okay.
Yeah.
yeah, I was a bit actually.
What was the weapon she was using as well? Like, what was that?
It looked like that. I've seen her use it before. It looks like
Yeah.
a machete with teeth.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
the only way I can describe it.
yeah. That's pretty accurate. Yeah, almost like a flat baseball bat, right? But with like spikes coming out. of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have
Find
no
out
idea
what
what
that's called
You
as
can
well.
give us the technical.
We'll have the
name
full
for
weapon
that.
rundown. later.
Yeah, thank you.
Baseball, flat baseball with spikes.
I think Liam's description was probably better.
Machete with teeth.
Well, I don't know.
You might get some weird things if you Google that.
Listeners, write into us and let us know. So we got then. Well, actually, with that fight, that's. Oh no, Beta does escape, right, and he takes Gamma out. Okay, I thought that might have been the last we saw of Beta, but no. Forgive me, I forgot that.
Close.
Forgive me, fellas.
Guys, we're
Man.
all idiots. It's just called a
We're-
sawtooth sword.
Sawtooth sword. Oh, that's all right.
has tooth in
Liam's
it.
pretty accurate then.
Yeah.
Machete with teeth, sawtooth sword.
Missed it by
yeah.
that much.
I'll give it to you.
Not bad, not bad. So we got them out on the road, Beta's, with Gamma, and then the group comes out. And like you were saying, it's just one of those, oh, come on, believe me, guys.
Yeah.
Like, I know this looks bad.
I know I'm literally walking out with the guy that everyone hates. And he didn't look like she was his hostage either. It looks like she was just walking with him. So it's
Yeah.
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 Oh, no. Doesn't look good, but at least it seems like Gabe's giving her the benefit of the doubt with that one. So that's good.
Turns out Beta is pretty agile though too, hey?
yeah, he just
zoom.
yeeted
Yeah.
off into the forest. there.
Yeeted off.
Like, lol, 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 lol,
Yeah.
into the forest.
And kudos to Mary too. She's like, well, I'm gonna drop because this dude's gonna get shot.
Yeah.
But Beta's like, yeet,
Yeah.
straight out the door.
Yeah.
And no one thought to pursue him in any
Yeah.
way. Even just a few,
Yeah.
100 meters or something.
Yeah.
I guess not. That's his
I
terrain,
mean,
maybe.
You see a big guy like that. Do you want
Yeah.
to go chasing after him? Or
Well, he doesn't have a gun. I mean,
yeah, true. Did they have guns? If they did.
I think they took a shot at him, didn't they?
Oh,
they
maybe.
did.
Yeah,
maybe.
Gabriel
Maybe
did.
they did.
Missed.
Yeah, because and he was then
Yeah.
pointing the gun at Gamma.
Okay,
Mary.
fair. Yep. Good point.
And
Good
he's
point.
got no excuse either because he's always got one eye looking straight down the sights. See?
Yeah.
So,
So we go back to Daryl and Alpha around this point. And actually, like you were saying, I didn't think of that until you said it, but reminiscent a little bit of when Negan was, I can't remember what the building was. It was some sort of 2-story building. Negan was down in like a basement and Rick was upstairs. And they've got this moment where they're not immediately in
Yeah.
the room with each other fighting, but they're just, they're just there. They get a moment to talk, and the two leaders of this battle just getting a small moment to talk. So I like it when we get a bit of that. And they're both in really bad shape. And this was just when it is starting to become really apparent that Alpha's she's just crazy.
Yes.
She's really not all there. Any thoughts on that? She was going off about some random stuff.
so she's bleeding from both sides of her head, part of under her neck. I don't know what happened to like around her shoulder sort of area, something there with a stick,
Yeah.
can't walk or whatever, and yet she smiles, and yet she's like, thank you, you made me stronger, and I'm like, clearly not. You're at your all-time
Stand up
low.
and
Yeah.
then you can say you're stronger. But
Yeah.
until then,
The two whispers carrying her are like, she's lying.
Yeah,
I don't think that's what strong means. But yeah, she's just going on about
She's
some
lost the plot.
strange things.
Yeah.
Strange things are happening to me.
yeah,
And she sort of goes. It was a bit unclear in the moment whether it was a hallucination or not of Lydia. The hint, at least to me, that it wasn't was that she had the crossbow and the staff, which Alpha wouldn't have imagined her carrying, because
Yep.
that's not how Alpha would have seen her. But yeah, it's still I think we're all half expecting her to just wake up and it was all a dream.
Mm-hmm.
But I actually thought it was quite nice to see that exchange. Obviously, Lydia's kind of been battling a bit of where she belongs and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
and just to that moment, okay, this is her mum, and she comes up, oh, mama, don't call me that instantly. And I feel like that was the moment that really just solidified it for
Yeah.
Lydia. That all right, hey, I thought maybe even I could try again and work it out, but this just isn't for me. So yeah. I like Lydia. I know Isaac's not a
I
massive
haven't
fan.
said
but-
anything.
And then
Is it the steam coming out of my ears? This.
a little bit. I was, and even as she walked in, I was just happy to see her again. I'm quite a big. She's probably even in my top 10 characters. I
Oh,
quite like
wow.
her.
She's
Yeah.
got a ways to go for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Hmm.
And then when Alpha sort of wakes up from that and it's morning again, she wakes up and sees that Daryl's whether it's Daryl or Lydia has carved into the bench. Let me read it out. What is it? Your way's not the only way. It was cool. I like that.
Spelt correctly as well, like grammatically correct. I was like,
So maybe it was Daryl then.
Maybe.
Because Lydia was struggling to learn with the whole reading thing.
There you go.
There we go. Yeah, so I don't know. Have we got any sort of hope that Alpha could realize that her way is not the only way, or
Nah.
it really doesn't seem like it, hey?
Nah. Also, I actually want to quickly go back to that. I don't think it was Daryl.
No?
Because when you think about it,
Yeah.
if Daryl was coherent enough to inscribe a thing, wouldn't he
True.
then go, actually, you know what? I'm just going to kill
I'm just going to
Alpha.
take this knife while we're here and like just
Yeah.
a little boop. and
Just,
Yeah.
just look at the flowers for a
Yeah.
second.
And it is a bit more profound coming from Lydia saying that, I think. So that would make more sense. Yeah. So, and we also actually there's a little scene of like people leaving for Hilltop. There's a group there, and Aaron shows up, which is supposed to be, I think, like the group
Split up.
arriving from the cave. He says they split up, but is that just referring to
Yeah.
to Magna and stuff, or like where are all the other characters is the question.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. I instantly went to he must have been in one of the other groups that split up initially. I forgot that he was coming back from the cave.
Yeah.
But he wasn't with anyone else from the cave, was he?
Nah. Part of me wonders if it's like a budget thing, a little
Yeah.
sneaky way. They're like, oh, we got to show people coming back from the cave, but I think they have to pay the actors sort of by episode, so maybe that was a way of not having to pay those guys just for that one. I don't know. That might not be the case. They might have even split up, and we'll catch up with them next episode. They're doing something else, but yeah,
Not worried.
who knows? And then we come back to Lydia and Daryl. She's dragged him out and sort of keeping him safe. What was some of their exchange again? It was about, she was saying, I spent some time thinking and deciding
Watching.
watching and deciding. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
I mean, hats off to her. She's apparently been stalking everybody, hasn't she? She's been
Yeah.
watching
She's the real
Alexandrians, Hilltopians, do we call them that?
stalker.
And the
Oh, that
Whisperers.
works. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, I'm just gonna watch all of you guys for a while, and then I'm gonna pick the winner, and then be like, cool, y'all are my people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so deciding, is that just like deciding a side? Is that what it was getting at? Like, or
Pretty much, yeah. Deciding who she wants to be, which group she wants to stay with. Because I think it is understandable that she, even after trying to make it work with the people at Alexandria, she was really, not having a great time. All these people were picking on her, and the few people she got along with, she barely even got to talk to. So I think that's fair that she had that little moment of just, running away for a minute, taking a minute to think about, okay, who do I really want to be? So as long as from now on in these future episodes, she's chosen to commit to our group, I quite like that. So
Yeah.
yeah,
I hope that's the case.
yeah,
It'd
definitely.
be quite frustrating if she does go back to being a bit more indecisive and whatnot, and wanting to run away.
Sure,
Because it was
yeah.
very strongly implied that she's made her choice.
Yeah.
She chose Daryl over Alpha, and then
Yeah,
she said what she
absolutely.
said to Daryl.
if she can hold to that, then I'll like her character a lot more.
Yeah,
If she like flip flops on that now and like, still shows a whole bunch of uncertainty and indecisiveness, that's gonna hurt it for me. But, we'll see.
and I think that was sort of the low point for the character. Even I was going, oh, come on, a few episodes ago when she did run away, and she was like, oh, you guys are, just doing this to take advantage of me and all that. So, but yeah, I hope she's made that commitment now, and I'm keen to see her stick around long term, because in the comics, her and Carl are like a couple, and so that's really what her dynamic is. She's sort of,
Her
the
and-
partner to Carl.
Really?
Yeah. And Henry sort of took Carl's role for a bit in the show, but obviously Henry's died. So it'll be really interesting to see sort of the role she plays and who she becomes in the group, because she's on her own now, and it's very different to what the situation's like in the comics. So yeah,
Very true.
I'm interested. I'm looking forward to it. And then just back to Alpha, still ranting and going crazy. A couple of whispers of fan there, but it's just
Grab
my
hood. That's how she like. Yeah.
I'm stronger now.
Yeah. Let's just get those vital organs back in your body.
Yeah,
And
that'll help.
Hashtag whisperer logic.
yeah.
She's nuts. Eh?
And if she actually thought for one moment that the rest of the team, like her camp, or what are they called? Pack. Sure.
Yeah.
The rest of her pack
They
would
do say the word pack, actually. Yeah.
like follow Lydia for 1 second, then you're dead wrong. Like, no pun intended. But it's kind of like, yeah, if you take the night, I don't know if there's some kind of rule within that clan that if you kill the leader, I think that is a rule, isn't it? Actually.
I believe so.
I think I'm getting to that,
Yeah.
but still, I don't know. I don't know.
So I think that that pretty much wraps up the episode. Alpha's all going crazy. Samantha Morton's doing a really good job portraying just this person who's really gone off the edge. And she's intimidating, yet she's a little bit sympathetic at times, even just in a few moments. But just showing that mix of why people follow her as a leader, but also just how nuts she is.
Yeah. She's an entire bag of crazy. Even when
yeah.
Daryl was like, you didn't love your daughter, and she's like, what did you say? And he's like, oh, actually, maybe Daryl, you shouldn't have said that because now she's oh man. Yeah.
What did she call him? She's like, you want to
Boy.
say it again, boy?
Boy. Because
So
we
funny,
were
man.
talking about this, I don't know if it was off mic or somewhere,
Yeah.
but like people with different accents live all around the world. Why could you not have had a person with a British accent be the bad guy,
Yeah, in the sense that Samantha Morton is naturally British. Why they didn't keep her natural accent, because it's not like there aren't any British people in America.
That's
who
true.
knows?
I've never heard it described that way. Naturally British.
Yeah, I thought
like
that's it. Born British.
Naturally British.
Next time I meet
Her
someone
natural accent is British.
But I'm just going to use that when I meet someone from England now. I'm like, are you naturally British or are you from elsewhere?
You sound naturally Australian to me as well.
Yeah.
Funny story. I'm actually
What
half
kinda-
British.
Ooh.
Oh.
Your
Well,
people.
my heritage is all British. but
Hey.
Not that anyone cares. Anyways.
Back to the zombies.
Moving right along.
Don't remember asking you, but
So from here, is there anything in particular that you guys are looking forward to seeing coming up?
More of what we just had.
Yeah,
That was
absolutely.
incredible.
Like, so what in particular you're talking, like the sort of, I guess, the suspense and the stuff that was going on at Alexandria?
All of it in general. I loved the suspense, and I loved not only that, but just the fact that it was not only at Alexandria. You've got one situation happening here, and I remember they did this. I think it was it season 7 where they were under the rule of the saviors,
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
and it felt very disjointed.
sure.
You'd spend ages where you wouldn't see certain characters.
Mm.
It was like that was rectified here, in my opinion. You've
Right,
got
okay.
multiple different things happening, and you're on the edge of your seat for each one. And every time it goes to each specific scenario,
Yeah.
I wasn't sitting there thinking, "Oh, I just want to find out what's happening with Daryl and Alpha." I'm like, "Oh yeah, what's happening here?" Like, I was on the edge of
Right.
my seat for the majority of the episode, and I loved that.
Cool. Sure.
And there was this major threat, and the walkers. I just got to say, like, the one scene that really stood out to me was after the family that Beta had killed had turned, and when they came out of the house, the camera shot, I don't know if it was deliberate or not, but it was sort of on an angle, and that woman walker was sort of walking towards.
Yeah.
That looked awesome, and it sort of really highlighted the threat of walkers again, and I love that.
Yeah.
I've always
Absolutely.
been a fan of that.
Yeah, and it's good to have that. I think it works so well with the Whisperers as well, just to keep that present reminder of walkers, because that was, I think, I remember you brought it up in particular in season 8. You could almost forget that there are even zombies in the show. Like, they were barely the focus of anything, and weren't used in any battle tactics and stuff like that. So it's good to have them present in this conflict, and just that constant reminder of the world we're in. So
Yeah.
it's cool.
absolutely.
How about for you? What are you looking forward to?
I would concur with
Liam over here. We're forgetting everyone's names tonight. Sorry, guys.
The little voice in my head said, Liam, just say Liam, you idiot. And I couldn't do it. Liam, I'm sorry, mate.
I love it. This is great.
Absolutely. Well said. The only parts I want to see more of are the characters that we didn't see. More of Negan, what's up with
Yeah.
Connie.
Yeah.
I want to see good old Dan Fogler's character. What's his name?
Luke, yeah,
Luke.
yeah.
Hashtag long live Luke.
Yeah, so that's one thing that's particularly stood out to me in season 10 so far, and I think part of it is just how it's sort of working without Rick as the main character, because when he's the main character, you've always got that kind of central storyline that you're following of whatever Rick's up to. But with season 10, this is maybe a little bit of a criticism, but I think they're handling it fairly well. Just the way that it, you've got so many characters to manage, and you just can't have a bit of them in every single episode. So it does tend to, you'll go a good solid 2 or 3 episodes without seeing a certain group of characters, and then you see them for a bit, and then you don't see other people. So that's kind of made the season feel a little bit disjointed for me at a few points.
Okay.
That makes sense.
You'll have Michonne, and it kind of seems like she's the
another
real
one, yeah.
focus, but then you don't see her for ages, and then you see her again, and same with heaps of the other characters. So they are doing it really well, like you were saying, in the sense of you're not just sticking with one group for a whole episode, and you're constantly, the pacing's really good of cutting between different things. But that's just feeling a little bit disjointed to me looking at the season overall, just how much time we spend away from different groups of characters.
Yeah, fair point.
Yeah.
Well said.
Upcoming, like I said, Lydia, I like Lydia, and just keen to see where that story goes. Same with Mary. I think it's going to be, definitely interesting to see what sort of part she plays in the rest of the conflict with the Whisperers, and how that all pans out. So it's all these relatively new characters. Of course, Connie and Magna, whatever's going on there, we want to find that out.
Just really quickly while I can
Yeah.
remember, with Mary, I think it's going to be a lot easier because in the eyes of all of the other communities, aside from the fact that she's been part of the enemy team, she actually hasn't done anything to them. Like
Yep,
she
true.
doesn't have to like redeem herself from killing anybody or stealing or whatever. So I think it'll be a lot easier for her to just defect and integrate.
Yeah. Oh, true. Very true. One thing as well, I was looking at the upcoming episodes, and they've released the titles for at least most of the rest of the season. I think for the whole season.
Spoilers
And
ahead?
not really spoilers. None of the titles for the show have really had spoilers in them. Maybe in hindsight, but nothing that would really give stuff away aside from maybe a general idea of what the episode could be about. But there's one coming up called "Look at the Flowers," which
Oh.
is going to be very interesting.
Really?
Yeah.
Mm.
Here we go.
Any
Predictions
thoughts?
in. Well, I've got one very bad one, which I shouldn't say.
Please do. Please.
Well, our good friend Carol might just look at the flowers, if you get my meaning.
Might do. Yeah, so I think a lot of people are a bit annoyed at Carol at the moment, which is fair, but hoping that we'll see some redemption. My thoughts are either it could be like a big sort of, whether it's Carol killing Alpha or a big moment like that. If Carol says look at the flowers and then kills Alpha, that could be interesting. Or even or more of a flashback episode of not a flashback episode, but an episode focused around Carol where she's sort of flashing back to some of those moments, including the look at the flowers, and just really sort of working out who she is, and because she's having quite a bit of a crisis at the moment, so
Yeah.
about time she thinks about some of that stuff.
My thought in relation to that is, and this is straight off the top of my head, the first thing that comes to mind is she's going to sacrifice herself to take out either A, Alpha, B, Alpha plus some of the Horde, or some of the Horde.
Yeah.
But as she does so, maybe she sees a flower or something and looks down at it before she pulls the trigger or drops the dynamite.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's what's to come.
Or so I'm just spitballing. I'm coming up with random different scenarios and stuff like that. If like Judith's there or something like that, and Carol's about to kill herself and do something, and she doesn't want Judith to watch, she says, "Judith, look at the flowers," or something like that, and then she goes off and like kills herself or does something. I don't know.
Why would anybody do that?
I don't know.
Hey, look at those flowers over there. Why?
What? Huh?
Just do it.
Yeah. So, if you're listening to this and have any theories for what that could possibly be about, let us know. I think that's an interesting one for some speculation.
I'll be
there.
looking forward to. How many episodes away is that?
I think that's like maybe 2 or 3 episodes away.
Okay.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Look forward.
Yeah. So now we're going to go into a segment which we call Previously on AMC's The Walking Dead. You can do the voice again.
Previously on AMC's The Walking Dead.
Nice. I think we might not even need to get a
No.
soundbite. We can just get Liam to do that every week.
Well, it needs to be a little worse just because it sounds a bit too spot on, I think. We'll get in trouble.
Yeah, they might sue us for copyright.
Previously on AMC's The Walking Dead. Oh, I'm just a bit British. Naturally.
What is this segment?
So
then?
this segment's just to give us an opportunity to look at the first 9 seasons of the show and talk about it. What's some stuff that's interesting that we want to discuss, some stuff we like, because we started this podcast midway through season 10, so there's a lot of stuff that we haven't had the chance to talk about. Who wants to go first with this one?
Can I nominate you, Ben? Can
Yeah,
I hear what
sure.
you have to say first?
Yeah, sure, no worries. I got a long list.
Oh, okay.
What do I do today? Maybe I'll go with. Now, this is potentially my favorite scene from the series.
Wow.
Here we go.
It's hard to pick favorites and stuff like that, but
Wow.
this scene I really do like and a lot of people don't like it as well, so it could be a controversial one.
Makes sense.
Right at the end of season 9, the snowball fight when they all come to arrive back at Alexandria and sort of reunite with Judith, and RJ's there, and there's Daryl, Carol, Lydia, Aaron, and they're all, and Michonne, they're all like, they've just been through this massive thing. Last week we lost a pile of people to the heads on the spikes, and so we've just see them gone through this horrible situation. They've just had to traipse through this massive storm, and so we've just seen them really go through the ringer, but they finally get home, and it's really nice to see them just have this moment of joy, particularly with RJ and Judith there, just having fun with the kids, and the music is just like, it's amazing.
Wow.
It's like, I love Ben McCreary. The music's beautiful, the scene's just really nice. I tear up a little bit every time I watch it, and it's a great scene.
Wow.
Any thoughts on that one?
That's wholesome as heck.
Yeah, very wholesome.
Wow.
I'm not gonna lie. The whole time, like before you said what scene it was,
Yeah.
As soon as you said controversial, I'm like, I swear, if you say when Negan pops someone on the head and it faded to black,
Yeah.
I'm walking out.
As the show suggests.
Imagine that.
No, that is
Yeah.
a really nice scene.
Yeah.
I didn't really feel any particular way about it. It was
Yeah.
more like, this is nice.
Sure.
I think it was more, I suppose, pleasant for the season to finish up, not necessarily on a cliffhanger, but just not
Yeah.
necessarily on a bad note.
That's right. Absolutely.
I did quite like that.
And particularly because we've had such a massive bad note last week of the heads on the pikes. Yeah, just to have that little bit of something to pick you up after that. It was refreshing. Nice.
Enjoy it.
Yeah, there we go. Who wants to go next?
I can if you want.
Cool.
I really like. I couldn't tell you exactly what season it was from. During the Negan era, of course.
Yeah.
The dynamic between Simon and Gregory.
Yes.
Yeah.
Every single
Yeah.
scene they share together, where you've got Gregory who's like, respect and authority and whatever. I forget what he exactly does, but just every single scene, particularly where he's like, Simon keeps on saying, "I'm Negan," like, kneel
Yeah.
before me. And he's oh right, of course, yep. And just him trying to be subservient and do all the things that he thinks is right to survive.
Yeah.
And it's just such a fun thing to see.
The almost reminds me of like, I don't know, like salesmen or something like that. Like
Yeah.
they're both
Yeah.
just so charismatic and just like trying to, Gregory's just so desperate to please this guy, but there's the obvious elephant in the room of you're this group who's oppressing us and all that, but it's just so friendly and it's like, Simon, what can I do for you today? And just being so, trying to be so charming and everything. And I think of the scene, especially when they come in and like take all the medicine that Hilltop that Hilltop really needed. It's like, oh well, I can't remember the line, but just
He leaves him like what, headache pills or something.
yeah, that's right. Yeah. Like, look, Simon, I really appreciate everything that you're doing for us and all that. But it's like, I don't know. I'd have to pull up some of those lines out. But
and just while I'm on it, I think as well there's a scene that Rick has with him where Simon's in the garage, like one of their storage areas, and Rick says something to the effect of, "We don't have such and such," and then Simon just goes, "Oh." Like, there's like a hands on the hip, like, "Oh, really? Oh, that's terrible," sort of thing, like in the most sarcastic way. And it's just like, you're just loving this power that's like, yeah.
Simon was great.
I miss Simon, yeah.
And he's making an effort as well with all these unreasonable requests just to be happy about it. Like, I really appreciate it, pal. That's so nice.
But
and
you can see that it's so, sorry to cut across.
Yeah, no,
it's
go for
so
it,
condescending.
It is so condescending.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with Gregory's, he'll chuck in these really cheesy lines. He's like, the worst thing is the big scary uncertainty. And then Simon's just like, yeah, like, and it's just like, you get these moments of just like, come on, what are you talking about? Yeah.
That's my pick. Yeah.
That's a great pick. That really was the highlight for season 7. A lot of those
100%.
scenes. Yeah. That's awesome. Liam, what have you got?
Well, to sort of carry along with the charismatic individuals, I really miss Abraham.
Yeah.
And his awesome one-liners.
Yeah.
Mm.
He had some great lines throughout his time on the show.
Absolutely. Any that stand out to you? Okay, that's a tricky ask because we do keep a clean show here.
Yeah. I think my favorite one, I won't say it word for word,
Sure,
but it was in the episode, I think it was season 4 or 5, if I'm not mistaken. And they're out with some of the Alexandrians getting some scrap metal, I think, to help build the fence. And all these walkers start coming in. And he turns around and he has this look like, oh, this sucks, but I love it. Yeah. He's like, mother dick.
It's just the most creative mixture of words.
His lines were great.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Oh, so many good ones. And he even goes out with a bang, just like, no, he's not willing to, he's not scared or anything of Negan, just suck my. Classic Abraham. That's a good pick. He's a charismatic guy.
Yeah.
He's great.
I really enjoyed seeing him after he was, not right after he was killed, of course. Take a damn look. I like that we got to see him in that sort of dream type thing as well. I thought that was really
yeah.
nice.
With Sasha.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
That was nice. Cool. Well, we'll do. Maybe I'll set a timer for this one.
I don't know if we have time for this.
We can do it quickly. I don't mind if we go over time a tiny bit. Excuses, Isaac. So we got a segment, and this was Isaac's idea, so you really can't blame us.
Yeah, I guess not.
Yeah. So pretty much the segment goes, we'll put you in a situation, whether it's, you're in this occupation or you're here at this spot, and the zombie apocalypse breaks out, and there's walkers coming in, all within the rules of how they act in The Walking Dead.
Mm-hmm.
And what would you do to survive in this situation?
Mm-hmm. All improvised as well.
All improvised with some very intense music playing in the background.
Heartbeat's already started.
Yeah. And I'll set a stopwatch maybe. We'll try and keep it around a minute.
Keep it to the minute, cool.
Yeah. And one thing to keep in mind, so we want to survive short term, you don't want to get eaten.
Yep.
But also you got to think ahead of how you're going to get away from here. So Liam the other week jumped onto the roof, but from there you're stuck on a roof. So
A library building as well.
Yeah. Not much you can do from there. All right, with all that in mind, why don't we hit the music? Oh, wait, I
Yeah,
gotta
tell
give you
me
the
where I am.
situation first. So you are now. If you're international, there's different names for this. I'm gonna put you at Adventure World. You're having a fun day. A water park with like water slides. It's got different
And
things like that.
I'm an employee working there. Or I just at
No, you're just there having a good time, slipping and sliding around, and then
Okay.
Walker's coming in the entrance, and that's like the only entrance because
as I'm going down the slide.
sure, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm a sensible person, so I'd have a rash
I don't
on.
think that's coming through. I
Oh,
think that's
no?
out of the speaker there. That's
Oh.
all right.
Hang on a sec.
I can insert it later.
Hang on a sec. Oh, I don't know why that happened. And here we go.
Okay.
All right. So I'd have a rashie on and board shorts
Yeah.
because protection from the sun.
Oh,
So
of course, slip, slop, slap.
I'd quickly run. Like, I'm in this for myself. I'm gonna run up to the nearest towels I see and just rip them off and start wrapping around my arms. From there, I'm gonna look for the cleaner's closet or something and hope that he's left it open. They're lazy like that. So at this point, I suppose they're at the gate, and I'm gonna run to the closet and find that he's only got mops and stuff there and brooms and other blunt things. But I'm gonna take one out there anyway. Snap the handle off. Hopefully, I've got some kind of a some kind of a sharp thing. I'm gonna make my way to the gate.
They're pouring in the gate.
Dang it!
You can't run out
Okay,
the
I've gone
gate.
for stamina here. Climbing to the top of the. Oh no! I'm halfway up the ladder of the water slide. What have I done? All right, so the tallest water slide. I make my way down. Splash in the
down.
bottom. Fend off
Yeah,
a
you're in
few
the same spot
probably.
you were at the start.
Damn it! By this point, there's probably panic and commotion and whatnot. Hopefully, they're feasting on some people that they've already caught. I'm gonna make my way to. I'm gonna climb up onto one of those. Usually have those flying lifts that go across the park,
Oh, clever.
and I'm gonna hide in there.
Okay.
As it goes round and round until nightfall.
All right.
Oh,
That's about
boy.
the minute point. Okay. Interesting.
Oh yeah.
How do we rate his chance for survival?
I forgot exactly what they have there. Like as soon as I.
Just to clarify, was that the sky lift, like the chair
What are they
lift?
called? Yeah, chairlifts.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
What did I just call it? A space elevator or something?
It wasn't a space elevator. It was along the lines of skylift.
Yeah,
or
Okay.
chairlift or something.
thing,
Yeah.
whatever it is. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So,
So,
what?
well, you got a weapon, so that's a
Yeah,
good
you're
start.
a step
you know,
above me there.
you want to get something to defend yourself. So
Okay.
good first move there.
Can
I
we-
like the
ca-
towels.
Thank you. Can
Yeah.
we flip around so 1 is pretty much you get eaten and you're joining the horde. 10 is you made it out alive.
Okay.
I think
yeah.
sounds a bit more positive.
Yeah.
So-
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh.
I don't know why I did the full loop and now I'm a little bit more tired.
Yeah, went back on the slide again. I don't think
I was like, I'll just climb to the top of this. Oh, wait, it's the same.
yeah.
You reckon
Well,
the lifeguards are like, up, stop, go.
Yeah,
stop.
clear.
Oh, wait. Look, I think the fact that you went for a weapon that's improved your chances quite a bit. And even
Great.
if you're sliding down the slide, there's a few at the bottom. You can jab them as you're sliding
Jousting.
off, maybe. Yeah, jousting. Yeah. So that's helped you out a bit. But oh yeah, and you went for the skylift, so that's maybe helped you out a little bit. But you're kind of strapped into those. There's not. If they're reaching for your legs or if there's any vulnerable
Oh.
points, you really can't
That
get
can
away.
go.
Not at Adventure World.
Yeah.
They're
Oh,
it's just
yeah, they
like
are pretty high.
seatbelt things there. I think you
Yeah.
can
The only bad thing about that is it does loop around
start.
continuously.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
if you've got any of them waiting at either end, you're going to very slow motionally get towards them and be like, I've made a terrible mistake.
You can
And then
probably
hopefully-
jab them away a little bit. But on the plus side, I'd have to check Adventure World again. Does the lift go
Over the top of
over-
buildings and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, or even like outside the fence at all? I don't know if it does.
No.
But like, is there any
Not
point
that
where
I
it
can
gets
think
even
of.
close to the fence where you could sort of reach and jump off? No. Okay.
There's the pedal sort of cart one that goes on that rail that does go along
Yeah.
That's the
top.
one I was thinking of. Is there? There's probably another one as well. Hey.
No, that was. Oh, I forgot that had pedals, but that's the
Yeah.
railway thing I was thinking of. Like
Ah,
your legs aren't
That's what I was
dangling.
thinking of. Yeah.
So I was thinking of the chairlift that just goes like toward from the bottom right up to the top.
Right. Okay. We'll give you the benefit of the doubt. We'll say the one with the best odds.
Okay.
So does that one go like outside of it a little bit?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
So you can
And
probably
you're
get
out of
There
reach.
you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's not bad actually.
So I can't say that I planned it, but it's like a happy coincidence.
Happy coincidence.
Hey, that's good.
Definitely. All right. And you're out of reach. Hey, that's pretty good. Yeah, I'm gonna give you a solid 8.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, I think you lost 2 points going down the slide again. But
It's gonna get my money's worth, all right? I'd only just gotten into the park.
fair.
Adventure World's expensive, man.
It is.
Yeah, I say 8 as well. I was going to go 6 under the assumption it was the chairlift.
Okay.
Right,
Thinking
okay.
purely that, you're going to do a loop and then there's going to be a herd waiting there and you're going to have to fend them off. And
Yeah.
but no, the other one, yeah, I think you're out of harm's way.
Okay,
Nice.
nicely done. Awesome.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, I think we'll wrap up the show about there. So nicely played.
Thank you.
If you're listening to this, if you've got any suggestions for scenarios you'd like us to try out,
Yeah.
then please send them through. So for that, if you'd like to get in touch, which we would love you to, we're still fairly new and starting out, so any emails you send through, we'll be sure to to talk to you and any suggestions you've got for subjects you'd like us to talk about. That's turnsounds@gmail.com.
For all your
Yeah,
questions and suggestions.
questions and suggestions. That's really catchy. Otherwise, we got a website, turnsounds.com. So Turn Sounds, we produce a whole pile of podcasts, so you can check out some of our other ones on there. Otherwise, we're on social media as well. Turn Sounds on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, any of those. You can message us there as well. And we'll be sure to get back to you because we'd love to chat with you guys and hear your thoughts on the show and anything you want to talk about.
All about community.
That's
Yeah.
right, absolutely, and positivity as well. We'll complain about some things,
Yeah.
but we like to keep our shows nice and positive, so that's good. I've been your host, Ben.
I've still been Liam.
And I'm still Isaac.
Yay!
Yay!
Thankfully, you could be Walker Isaac if you
True.
didn't go for the chairlift, but you are still Isaac. Okay. Well, thanks so much for listening, guys, and we'll catch you next week with next week's episode, whatever it's called.